Welcome to this episode of ISV Talks. I'm Carol Livingston, the owner of Dynamics Connections and your host of ISV Talks. And on this episode, I have David Gersten with me from Paystand. Welcome, David.
Thank you very much. I'm real excited to be here. I love this program. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you for joining today. And I'm excited to hear what new things are going on in Paystand and in your world. So, first, we'll start with an introduction. So, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. So, hello, everyone. I know a lot of people out there, but those who don't know me, my name is David Gersten. I am the senior manager of the emerging emerging ecosystem partners, whatever you want to call it, here at Paystand. That basically means the Microsoft Sage and Acumatica channels and any future ERPs that we go into. I'm real excited to be part of this community. I've been at VAR for about 10 years, everything from GP, NAV, AX, the whole Biz App suite. And then after that, I went over to another AR automation company, decided to no longer be a VAR and try the ISV side of the world. And now I'm in my second role in the ISV space. I've been here about 9 months. Feels like years. We've moved mountains and real excited, but I just love having the ability to manage VARs and work with them because I was one, and I absolutely totally understand how difficult a VAR can be and how difficult an ISV can be, and I really love that relationship that happens between the two of them. So
yeah, and I know you speak at conferences, like I know you spoke at Directions on that topic, right? How VARs and ISVs can work better together, right?
absolutely. Yeah. We had a panel at Directions. It was great. Thank you for all those that attended that are listening. It was over 120 people in the room. Real exciting. We had over 150 people register. I'm looking forward to making that a workshop. We're kind of doing a similar panel at Dynamics Gone Live with Rick McCutcheon. I'm on the panel, so I'm excited to have that experience as well.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I look forward to hearing that session then at Dynamics Con Live. Tell us a little bit about Paystand. How did the company start? Kind of give us a little bit of the company's history.
Yeah, so Paystand is basically the fastest growing blockchain enabled fintech company in the world. And it's actually the fastest growing blockchain enabled company in the world. And it started about 10 years ago. Jeremy Almond, he was interesting. He grew up in central California and lived a very low poverty life and farm life and came up and realized that there's this industry out there that penalizes people for their growth, penalizes companies when they grow. And it's called the credit card cartel, the credit card industry, basically. And he wanted to find a better way to not penalize companies when they grow. And, by doing that, we basically change the way payer behavior works. When a merchant collects money from their customers, there's basically no fees involved anymore. We've provided a way that allows a customer to pay a merchant with no fees. Whereas ACH, traditional rails like ACH or credit card or other things like that, cost money. And as your company grows, your revenue increases, which means your costs increase. And he wanted to pull it away. Yeah. So about 10 years ago, we came out with our product. We're in the NetSuite space for quite some time. That's our kind of big product that we have a lot of experience, hundreds, if not thousands of customers. We were in Sage Intacct space for about 3 years now. And we're in our first year in the Microsoft space, but really making a voice out there. And we recently launched in the beginning of this year our Acumatica product.
Awesome. So yeah, kind of newer, but not new, right? Not just new to Dynamics, Acumatica.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, we talked to a partner yesterday and, they were asking how long have we been doing this and how many customers. And, at the end of the day in the Microsoft space, we might be a little bit new, but we've got the experience. It's the same technology. It's really all driven by the Paystand dashboard and the features and functionalities within that solution. So it really doesn't matter which ERP you're using. We are embedded in Business Central, so that's awesome. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter the ERP.
Yeah, so maybe just to kind of review again, what is it you do, and kind of what are your unique features too. I'm really interested in hearing kind of what makes you unique and different.
Yes, I love that question, Carol, because it's really the differentiators. This is a very crowded space. The payments world is really interesting. It's agnostic to people get confused. Is it AP? Is it AR? Things like that. So primarily, Paystand is an AR business. The way we differentiate ourselves is when we present the payment experience to a customer. We present three options. It's really we can present as many as we want, but the one option that we present that no one else in the world operates and does is what's called the Paystand Bank Network. And that's a bank to bank network, very similar to like a Venmo or a Zelle or Plaid, for the B2C space. But the consumer, the company will log in with their bank credentials. Through our technology, we'll actually do fund verification. So there's no longer insufficient funds, which happened with ACH even now. You could actually issue an ACH if you have $1 in your account. So we've eliminated that. And then we take it one step further and we do the full cash application, collection management, auto pay, payment reminders. And the last step that we do is very unique is we do deposit reconciliation. So we actually, the payments that the merchant's receiving through their bank, we'll go ahead and reconcile, click those off in Business Central so that that actually
Yeah,
saves a lot of
yeah,
hours. Our goal is to eliminate transaction costs, reduce your manual effort, and automate, everything, and also just get you paid faster. So we're
yeah.
reducing DSO, we're eliminating credit card costs, and we're automating processes.
Yeah, that's interesting that you even take it one step further than most of AR automation payment solutions that, reconciling the bank. That's also a step that you've got many to one. Maybe it's settled as one lump sum. You've got all the recorded transactions for that day.
Exactly.
That's
It's
always
also
a really,
combining a lot of
yeah,
solutions. So not just the Pay Now link, we've got the collection management tool. So a lot of times you'll need another solution. We're also the payment and the gateway, we're the processor and the gateway. So we're really all in one. It doesn't matter if it's your ACH or your credit card, or you still want to do paper checks. At the end of the day, our goal is to drive digital transformation. I hate that word. Transformation is so overused, but we really are changing behavior. We're changing the way
yeah,
payers pay their merchants
yeah,
nowadays. So it's really exciting because I tell my kids stop going to ATMs that aren't tied to your bank. You're paying $4, $5 to get your money, and that's really what the credit cards industry is doing. And
yeah,
we give you an option to provide convenience fees to your customer to actually share that burden. If you give the customer an option to have a free network or versus using a credit card, then they should pay that fee. They should
mm,
share in that burden. They want their miles, they want their points, so pay the
yeah.
4%. And
That's
you
a
almost turn
good
it
a
into
good
a revenue.
motivation from credit card companies, right, to get
Exactly,
extra
exactly.
benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have the option they can process, or pay via credit card. It's just gonna cost them a little bit to
Yeah,
do
you're
that.
sharing the burden and
Yeah,
the cost. The merchant shouldn't have to pay that.
yeah,
Let the consumer, let
and
the company say, okay, if I want my miles, I'm going to pay. And in some models, because our credit card rates are similar, are pretty fair. You have an opportunity to maybe do 3% or 4% convenience fee. And at that point, you can actually turn it a little bit into revenue also to offset some of those costs. So it's
yeah,
it's very unique. You can only offer convenience fees though legally in all 50 states if you offer a free another option. So some of our other players in the AR space do surcharging, which is very challenging because a lot of laws in states don't allow you to do it. Some cities, some counties don't even allow you to do it. So we're able to do it because we offer convenience fees. We're not doing surcharges. And it's kind of like the Ticketmaster model, you know.
yeah. You're paying for a service, right? So, but I like how you describe your bank network as like Venmo for businesses, right? I can understand that, right? Because the most personal or consumer modes people are using, like a, payment service like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to remember the person sitting in that finance seat, that AR clerk,
Yeah.
that controller, is also probably paying their medical bills for their personal, they're paying their utility bills, they're doing different things that
Right.
they're doing while they're sitting at the desk. And it's so convenient for them to just log into their bank. They don't have their routing number and checking number, all the time. They do know how to log into their bank. So it's real easy that what we're doing is we're taking consumer mentality and bringing it into the business world. And we're not doing that. We're providing a tool that aligns with
Yeah.
that. That behavior is already happening with
Sorry.
millennial workforce, with just our lives are so busy. We're
Yeah.
switching between, oh, I gotta go pay that medical bill. I gotta
Yeah.
pay the utility. They're buying something and they're using a Zelle, or they're paying their friend for dinner last night. So they have that experience already. So we've brought that to the business world because our
Right.
minds all think about that already. Like when I go
Yeah.
somewhere,
Like,
I need to pay a bill and I can't make it convenient and they don't have a place, like I don't want to do business with them anymore. It makes it really
yeah.
hard and frustrated.
Yeah.
I don't want to log into a portal and find an invoice, and like I just want to click a button, use the knowledge I have, which is my bank login, and pay the
Mhm.
bill. And
Yeah.
it takes all the friction out of the world.
That's fantastic. And it
Yeah.
is different, right? So you kind of have to wrap your mind around it, or, take that personalized consumer experience and bring it into your business world, which makes sense.
Literally changing the buyer process. Customers
Yeah.
are they want to find things that are easy. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
we have, back-to-back meetings. We have, we're running to pick up our kids and taking them to soccer practice and making sure we're back at our meeting to be on the next Zoom call or whatever. So
Yeah.
if we can make it an easier experience for customers to pay their merchants, then the
Yeah.
merchants are going to be happier. They're going to get paid faster. It's going to cost them no money to collect the money, collect that payment. And ultimately, we find that with day sales outstanding, at today's interest rates, like if they have to go out and borrow against the money that's sitting on their AR aging,
Yeah.
it's a lot of money. So if we could help them every time, and we're
Yeah.
finding customers that are 40, 50, 60 days out on DSO, and if we can get them closer to that net 30 even earlier, we find that even someone with a pay now link on a net 30 is paying like when they get the email. They're not
Yeah.
even waiting the 30 days.
Not even waiting to know the terms. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. Another thing you mentioned is kind of the payment as a service, I think is what you call it, or tell
Yeah,
us
yeah.
about that.
So what we've done is, a lot of other companies out there, they make their money low subscription fees or no subscription fees, and then they make their money on the transactions, the credit card
Right.
fees, the percentages, the transaction, 2.9% plus 25 cents a charge or something. And you have $1 million of revenue or something like that. You're really looking at $30,000 a year in credit card fees. Either you're paying or your customer's paying. Someone's paying them. So what
Yeah.
we do is we switch that model. We do a payments as a service. So we do a subscription fee that's consistent based
Hmm.
on the revenue that you're coming through our rail. So let's say, you're under $5 million, you'll probably be paying anywhere from like $700 to $1,200 a month. So at worst, it's $15,000 a year, but that $5 million company is paying $150,000 a year in credit card
Right.
fees. Either they're paying them or their customers paying them, or they're doing manual application and they're taking checks. Some of our best customers have been customers that haven't even taken credit cards, and they're just like keying in checks manually. So what we've done is we say,
Right.
stop taking checks, offer an easy way for your customers to pay that is still free. Use the bank network, and we've now automated that cash application. We automate that bank reconciliation, deposit reconciliation, and we've eliminated insufficient funds because a lot of those checks are bouncing. So at the end of the day, because we're predictable, the only variable cost at that point is your human labor. Can
Yeah.
you adjust it? Can you put them on a different task? Can you make them more
Yeah.
efficient, more strategic? But you're no longer paying, these ups and downs based on your sales
Yeah.
cycles, revenue, and you're not getting penalized for growth. because we'll put you in the right tier. We'll look at your revenue. You're maybe a $4 million company today. We'll put you in a tier that's up to 5 million maybe. And then, you can grow without any penalty. Whereas today, if you were in the different model, you'd literally be paying a lot of money or passing that cost to your customer, which doesn't make sense anyway. Why dissatisfy your customers by passing that cost?
Yeah, and that is really different, right? Like, let's just pay a monthly subscription. It's predictable. I know how much it's going to cost. Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense. And then you don't get that, like, well, okay, we're ramping up or we have seasonality. And so the costs go up commensurate with the, volume and changes in volume. So I really like it. It's really different,
Yeah,
than,
no, finance executives love that, because now
yeah,
we're
I
predictable,
bet.
they're ongoing, they're comfortable, as long as they know their business. And the challenge, honestly, Carol, is a lot of times people don't even know what their cost to collect revenue is. So that's what we need. We ask our partners and our
Right.
customers to change their behavior also. Their mindset has to change. We're no longer saying, oh, how do you get payments? Oh, do you take checks? Do you take, credit cards? What rate are you paying? We don't even, I mean, we get to those conversations, but at the end of the day, we're like, do you know how much it costs you to collect your revenue? And people are like, well, I pay 2.9%. Well, okay, well, you pay 2.9%, but really, how much is it costing you to collect revenue? How much, time are you spending doing cash application? How much are those insufficient funds? What's your DSO? All of the day sales outstanding. All of these things combined become our
Right.
ROI. That's, another one of our differentiators is in our sales cycle, we have to get to an ROI conversation. Because trust me, Carol, if I told you it's $15,000 a year or $30,000 a year, you're not going to be happy, and you're going to be like, no way, I'm
Yeah.
not going to pay that. I'm only paying, $10,000 a year for my Business Central licenses or whatever, but we
Yeah.
have to get to that ROI conversation. And when we do, we win all the time. It's just,
Yeah.
because we get them to
Oh, yeah.
understand how much their cost to revenue is.
Yeah, well, even just getting paid faster, making it more convenient to pay and get paid, that's huge. You're not stressing out like,
Absolutely.
wait, I thought that payment would be here. Or the check got lost, right? Lost in the
Yeah.
mail. You never got the check. They never got the invoice, all of those
Well,
kind of
yep. And all
AR
those
tasks.
conversations no longer
Yeah.
even happen when they're using
Mm-hmm.
our solution. So it's
That's
fun.
amazing.
I'm pumped. I love it. It's so different. When I was selling these type of solutions for many years as a VAR, this wasn't an option in the space I was.
No.
And those were tough conversations. AR is not the easiest conversation. We find that it's, you
No.
check off, oh, you're taking payments. Okay, you made the RFP, but really you have to peel back that onion again and realize, because a lot of times we'll actually liberate like 30, 40, 50, $100,000 of savings, which then the
Oh, wow.
partner can actually use that to help close their business. Because you got a
Right?
customer from GP to Business Central, they don't want to pay this huge upgrade fee or even just the new
Yeah.
implementation of a Business Central project. We
Mm.
can come in early enough in the sale when working with our strategic partners and say, hey, customer, yeah, you're going to pay $100,000 for your Business Central implementation, but you're going to save $40,000 your first year with using Paystand. So that really helps those conversations. So that's my ask is, the partner community, bring us in early and often, and you'll actually start
Yeah.
driving net new business or helping with your upgrades and things like that.
Mhm. Yeah, that changes the conversation a bit, that we're not looking at just adding on another investment or, cost center. It really
Yeah.
is helping contribute to the
I
bottom
know.
line.
As a bar, the last thing I wanted to do was add an ISV. Like, oh, it's hard enough for me to
I
sell my Business Central deal. Like, I have to sell my Business Central deal. But then when you can actually work with a solution like Paystand that actually helps bring more money into your customers' pockets, it absolutely will accelerate that sales
Yeah.
opportunity for you.
So kind of with that, I'm kind of curious, what changes have you seen in the channel? I know you have been in the channel quite a few years and both of our and ISV role, but what changes have you seen?
So I think part of the change is, let's look at it twofold. I'll first look at the
Okay.
customers. The customers are buying differently. That with all these marketplaces and review sites and so much penetration in the market, I kind of feel, and I'll throw this out, it's not scientific, but maybe 60-70% of the buyers already know the decision they make. So that kind of, as an ISV, that changes our relationship with our partners. We have to be real careful because they're coming into directly to us without their partner. So we have to do a lot of work to find out who your partner is, bring them in, help have them influence the sale, be part of it so that the implementations go as well. And a lot of times the customers don't want us to do that, so we have to be careful. And so it's really, I'd say, how customers are choosing their solution. The second thing I think is the customers are blending roles in their organizations. So, like for example, AR and AP. And I'm seeing more of a convergence there. I mean, honestly, we just acquired a company called TeamPay. They're a fantastic solution out in the Microsoft and Sage and NetSuite space right now. We'll be launching in the Acumatica space at some point. But they're more of a spend management, expense management type of solution. I'm not sure if we'd ultimately call them an AP, but they can power purchasing completely within the ERP and Teams and different things like that. It allows you to have the similar automated reconciliation and things. So our conversation, Carol, keeps changing. Now we're talking about AR, which is like get your money in. Why wouldn't you want to get paid faster? Get paid faster, get easy, then hold your money, make smart decisions, and then spend your money wisely. Virtual cards, an easy approval process, permission routing, all of those things tied back to the GL and reconciliations of the spend versus the PO versus, the matching the receipt and things like that. So it changes that whole conversation, but it makes the consumer now, they have the opportunity to deal with just one company. So deal with Paystand. We have another product, it's called TeamPay, so that now our partners can deal with one company, the customers can deal with one company. So I think that's part of what we're going to start seeing. We're seeing a lot of acquisitions, M&As happening in both the partner VAR space. Yesterday, there was an announcement Pax8 sold off their entire Business Central that used to be the Bamboo Cloud, is
Right.
now, part of Infinity Software. So there's all this happening in the
Yeah.
space.
A lot of
Uh,
consolidation of partners. Yeah, I see
and
that.
that's happening also out
Yeah.
on the ISV side, but at the end of the day, I think that's easier. Fewer choices, more selections, more opportunities to work with more strategic
Right.
relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the buyer just be able to go, okay, I'm thinking payment automation, doesn't matter if it's AR or AP, I'm going to go to
Yeah.
Paystand.
And people love working with fewer vendors, right? That can do more. So that
That
makes
that
sense.
came,
It's more
yeah, that comes
strategic.
up on my ISV panel a
Yeah.
lot. I only want to work,
Yeah.
especially if the partner crosses over publishers. They also do Sage or they also do NetSuite, or
Right.
they want to find ISVs that work in each of the things,
Yeah.
and that's I'll segue into that's kind of some news for us also is why we launched Paystand for everyone. It's Paystand for all, and what we're really looking at that is we launched this a couple of weeks ago at Directions. Paystand for GP, Paystand for Nav, Paystand for SL, Paystand for AX, Paystand for Sage, Paystand 100, 300. All of these possibilities now, because through import and export of data, you now have the ability to leverage, as long as we can get the data out of the ERP and we
Right.
get it to the Paystand dashboard, you can now do everything: collections management, payment reminders, auto pay, dunning notices, cash application. All of that stuff happens, and
All
then
that
we
stuff.
can export it back into the ERP. Little bit of manual task. We understand that. That's fine, but we set you up. We get you into a
Yeah.
routine.
Even if you have to push a button to import or export data, it still saves you time, right? All those
Absolutely. That's where,
prerequisites.
yeah, the time that you'd be doing to send out the payment reminders or do the cash application or do the collection notices or set
Yeah.
someone up on auto pay, all of that stuff is not core functionality for a lot of the ERPs. So
Yeah.
we put that functionality in our solution. Just give us the data. We're looking at a second phase for this of automating some of that. So we'll have kind of automated data import type of solution, and then our embedded solution like we have with Business Central or Sage
Yeah.
Impact and things like that. But at the end of the day, we could service any ERP now.
Do you have a customer story you could tell us and share that, that how they were successful with your solution and why?
Yeah, so we have two. One is more of the adoption, because I think we had talked about that a while ago. You're like, do people really do this? Do people really change the way they pay behaviors? And one of my customers, can't release the name, but they're basically a huge seed producer, like farming,
Oh,
and they grow seeds and they sell them to other farmers. And if
okay.
you think about farmers, and by no means am I trying to insult a farmer, I'm so grateful to the agricultural world. I live in Idaho, I have to be, you know, but they're not the most technical people. Fat fingers, they're out on trucks and rototills and they're out in the fields and stuff.
On
But
the
interesting
tractor, yep.
enough, this seed company had a 80% adoption within 6 months of their farmers to use the
Really?
Paystand Bank network, which was mind-boggling. We were like, wow. And we do that through like a series of communications. We help you with, we give you a customer success manager, and we help you get those adoption. And because a lot of our story is really based on adoption. You have to have that to get those ROIs. So I love that story. The second story is a company, they're a RV service company. So like an automotive shop for RVs. And we really typically don't play in the B2C space. We don't have mobile devices. We don't have card swipers. We don't have POS. But this guy was tired of receiving bounce checks and paying huge credit card fees when someone swipes their credit card for a $10,000 or $15,000 repair. So what we did was got him using Business Central. I actually think it's one of Journey Team's customers, which is fantastic. But at the end of the day, we got rid of their credit card swipe devices. So they were paying fees on that and paying monthly services. And now when you come in with your RV, you walk up, he puts your information in Business Central, sends your invoice, and he emails it to you. And the consumer's standing there with their cell phone and they hit pay and they have their bank login information. They know that. They just did that. So they pay the bill or they pay the deposit using the Paystand Bank Network, which is free, or they use the credit card and they pay the convenience fee. So
Right.
now the merchant is literally not getting bounce checks. He's got his cash application and he's not paying transaction fees. Very interesting use
Love
case.
that.
We typically don't use that, but he's going to have 100% adoption to now a digital payment, or you're not going to have a customer. They're either going to pay by credit card and pay the fee, which he couldn't do anymore. He couldn't
Yeah.
do when you swipe the card because that's a surcharge, not a convenience fee, and you can't do that in most states. And then you have the ability to just email the customer that's
Right.
standing literally right in front of you. So I love those two stories. Those are fun. We got dozens of them, typically B2B companies that are invoicing 10, 15, 20, 50, 100, thousands of invoices. We're real excited. Another announcement is we have a great, phenomenal partnership with Ben Cole and ERP Connect Consulting. I know he's a big
Love
fan of
them. Mm-hmm.
yours. Such an amazing person out there. So we fully integrate with his invoice and statement delivery ISD
Oh,
solution can be written in. He is actually a customer of ours. He has a lot of his customers that are on ISD considering using Paystand for their pay link. We're tied to their recurring invoice function, their deposits, all the prepayment, all the stuff that he allows to do. We're completely tied together. We're literally sharing booths at conferences now. He's a great guy. He's great. We realize that we have a great story together. It's such a great fit. So anyone that's really invoicing out of Business Central or now, other ERPs can literally use our solution.
yeah. A little plug for ERP Connect Consulting.
Yeah.
They have a lot of great add-ins, productivity tools, dashboards for Business Central. So I can't say
Yeah.
enough about
For us, Carol, we actually financial dashboards are a great solution because we talk about DSO all the time. And one of the KPIs they can put on their dashboard is DSO. So they can make sure that Paystand's doing what it needs to do,
Right?
and so we
Yeah,
love that. We actually demo his software in our demos as well. So real excited about that.
that's a partnership that
Yeah,
works well together.
yeah.
So, I'm kind of looking, I think we covered a lot of my questions, but I'm curious, what trends are you seeing? I mean, it sounds like in the payment industry, you guys are kind of making a lot of changes, but what new trends are you seeing on the horizon for
Okay, so
payment?
so I'll be honest. Everyone, what's the buzzword today? Come on, we all know it. It's Copilot, right? Or
Yeah,
it's AI.
AI.
I mean, so are
Yeah,
we in Copilot? I'm sure, with Copilot for Business Central now, if you ask, what is your AR balance and I'm sure it does those things. We haven't really played around with it, but if you think about AI at the end of the day, you think about cash application, automation of some sort is AI. So we've been in this space forever. Are we building around it? Is it our buzzword? It's not really where we're going, but we are looking at ways to improve our automation. What other tasks are the AR people doing that we're maybe missing in our solution? Where else can we help them? Again, the team pay acquisition is kind of another stretch within the controller's office or the CFO's office. What can we do to help them out? At the end of the day, honestly, Carol, we're just a great organization that cares about people and making sure they keep the money they work hard for. We all work really hard for our money as individuals, as companies.
yeah,
So why penalize them? But I mean, at
yeah.
the end of the day, I think the trend is it's expensive to run a business. Our economics, I know my grocery bills are 25% more than they were a year ago, if even more than that. So what can
Yeah.
we do to help businesses save money and not be penalized as they grow? I mean, and that's really our trend. It might not be where the industries are going, and we might not be caught up with the co-pilot and the AI space in
I
the
think
world.
people are interested in ways to hold costs and reduce expenses, right?
Yeah. And that's
So,
really what we want to do. If you go back to really Jeremy's goal is we are the fastest growing blockchain company in the world. And
mhm.
using technology to make people have a better business is what we do.
That's great. I don't know if you had any other last thoughts you want to share with us?
We are looking for great partners. We're looking for partners to become customers. We're looking for partners to let us talk to their customers. I know we're relatively new in this Microsoft space, but again, we are the only company out there that offers what we do. We will be the only company for quite some time that will continue to do that. So it will just give us a chance to be that option. Give us a chance because not all customers care about the cost of AR. They're just looking for a couple extra basis points off their credit card fees. Not something we're looking to do. But at the end of the day, if you're really looking at an AR automation company that cares about it, Paystand's your choice.
Mhm.
Reach out to me, follow me on LinkedIn, follow me, on Twitter, reach out to me, email me, visit me at the
Yeah.
booths, at the events.
You,
Let's
you
have a
can't miss
virtual
David.
coffee.
He's usually talking with everyone, knows everyone too.
Come to my sessions, have fun.
Right.
Let's have fun. This is a too much dog eat dog world. We need to be all friendly and enjoy each other's value that we provide to the community.
Well, thank you, David, for joining us today on this episode of ISV Talks. It was very interesting, some fascinating new things you guys have introduced to the marketplace. So thank you.
It is my pleasure. I absolutely have believed in your program, Dynamic Connections, back when Mama Kim was running it. When I was a VAR, I
Thank you.
absolutely participated in it all the
Yeah,
time.
me
And
too.
ever since I've been in ISV, I've been part of Dynamics Connections. So I absolutely love this. The ISV Talks is such a great point. So much better. I love, people reach out to me, please. I know those who are listening, my email is DGEE. Let me repeat that. It's DGERSTEN at paystand.com. So dgersten at paystand.com. And you can reach me at 310-529-4043. I typically answer my phone. Looking forward to seeing everyone at the next events. I love these virtual and in-person experiences in the community. Thank you so much, Carol.
Yeah, thank you, David. All right, friends, we'll see you on the next episode of ISV Talks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.